Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I have my little cousins here and we are going to do some kids crafting. We're going to make some crafts out of some Dollar Tree items. This is Olivia and this is Heidi, and they watch my channel all the time and are so excited to be in this video. For our first Dollar Tree craft, we are going to be using the tumbling tower game from Dollar General. I gave each of the girls 4 and they picked their colors and are painting all 4 of the blocks. And one thing that I want to say when you are crafting with kids is remember to be patient. To us crafters, painting all 4 sides of a block is second nature, but it takes the kids a while longer, and that's part of the fun of it. I saw these pictures on a blog and I printed them out on some cardstock. I'll link that blog below if you want to get these. They fit perfectly in the tower frame that we're going to make. Another thing that I want to say about working with kids is pick 1 or 2 crafts. Don't go overboard. We may love crafting all day long, but the kids are only going to want to do it for a short time. And that's why I'm letting you guys see these kids do it, to just show how easy some of these Dollar Tree crafts are. I'll get into more that I'm doing later, but I'm going to let the kids do a few just to show you guys how easy they are. So they cut these out, and now we are going to make a frame out of these tumbling blocks. And all you do is just make an L with 2 of them. That is the easiest way to put them together. And I'm just using hot glue. I'm using Gorilla hot glue. I wouldn't suggest any other kind because I know that this is going to hold. These are not going anywhere. And then I'm just going to glue the picture that we cut out onto the back of the frame, centering it in the frame. Again, you'll make 2 L's. And it's just that easy to glue them together. This time I decided to glue on the picture so I could put it on from the front and really see that it was centered before gluing it down. And then all I did was glue some hangers on the back of them. And look how stinking cute these little ornaments are made out of the tumbling blocks. For the next project, we are going to use these wood chalkboard signs that are at Dollar Tree. They're perfect for hanging on kids' doors. So basically, I let the kids get creative on these. They painted them, and then I showed them how to use the stamps. I let them have the cozy stamps and the letterpress stamps, and they went to town decorating their chalkboard signs with their names and lots of other embellishments. I think they did a great job, and they were all so excited. They also wanted to use some molds, so we're going to play with some molds. We're going to use the Village Market mold. Mason is putting some cornstarch in his, and then they're going to learn how to use the air dry clay. Now I want to show y'all just how easy this air air dry clay is. This is a 7-year-old using it for the very first time. Fairly easy. So that is how easy it is to use this clay in these molds. You just cornstarch it, push it in, clean up the edges using the micro rim, and it comes right out. Heidi decided to use the birdsong mold for her project. And Olivia is using my personal favorite, the baubles mold. They made all their molds by themselves, and now they are gluing them down using some Titebond glue onto these wood planks that you can buy at the Dollar Tree. Now, normally I would let the molds dry before painting them, but we didn't have time for all that. So they are giving their wood planks with their molds on it 1 or 2 coats, whatever it was necessary to cover them. And then we're going to white wax them. Somehow I didn't film the white waxing, but they were so excited about how these turned out and how cute all the details were. Okay, guys, I'm going to have to get back to these tumbling tower blocks because there is just unlimited amount of things that you can do with them. For these, we're going to paint them, a few of them black. We're just using a regular black chalk paint. And then once the paint has dried, I am going to glue them together and make snowman hat ornaments. For the first one, I already had this little eye hook hanger that was on something else, so I just wanted to see how it would work. So I glued it in between the top 2 pieces, and it held perfectly and fit perfectly in there. But that was the only one I had, so for the next one, I'll just use ribbon for a hanger. That's how easy these are to glue together. Again, I'm using the Gorilla Glue sticks. They're right there. You can see them. Those are my absolute favorite. They hold better than any hot glue you can find. Then I'm just going to wrap some twine around a couple of times and embellish the little hats. I had found some little red berries. You can see them there to the right, but I decided they were too big, so I'm going to go with a different route. I'm going to pull some greenery off a Dollar Tree bell that I have here, and we'll get back to that bell in a few minutes. But I'm just going to clip some small pieces of this garland and embellish the hats a little bit. And then I really like the berries on these other Dollar Tree items. The size of them was perfect, and they had a little wire stick that I could stick down in there, so I just hot glued them in with the hats too. Y'all, I have never really been on board with the Dollar Tree crafts, but I am loving all these little tumbling tower things and all. I just love making these cheaper looking items look much more high end. It's very satisfying. So I have another block craft, and these are just some more of those game blocks from that game, and we're going to give them a coat of paint with this chalkboard paint from the Dollar Tree. Just painted them all up and let them dry, and once the blocks have dried completely, I'm going to use a regular piece of chalk and just season them, i.e. distress them on all the corners. And then I'm just going to take a chalk pen and write some words on each of these blocks. I do not have the greatest handwriting, and it would have been much better with a finer point chalk pen, but mine dried out or something. So I'm having to make do with this one. They look okay, but even if you think about it, if you let the kids write it, it's not going to be perfect anyway. Perfect is definitely not the name of my game when it comes to craft. I like the more handmade, the more personalized. But even if you've had some small stamps, that would work. These are just pretty small, so you would need much smaller stamps than any of the IODs. I'm just going to glue this ribbon on the back for hanging them. And these just add such a touch of handmade, crafty goodness to your tree. I've just got them on a little tiny tree here, but I can just imagine like these hanging all over a tree, and your kids have wrote them, and how sweet that would be. Okay, guys, I'm going to do one more block craft, and then I promise I'll move on. We're going to do something similar to the first craft, except for we're going to stain these blocks. I am using the Dark and Decrepit liquid patina from DIY here, but any stain would work. These are just a natural wood, so they'll take stain really good, and we are going to make a larger frame out of these. So instead of using 4 blocks, we're going to use 8 blocks. And I'm not kidding, y'all. If you do not have some of these tumbling tower blocks, get you some for your Christmas crafts. They are so much fun. So we're going to do the same concept here. We're going to make 2 L's and put them together, except we're going to make larger L's. Once I got my frame all glued together, I cut out a piece of cardstock. I got this book at Five Below a long time ago, and I use it all the time for crafts. It's like a watercolor pad, but I love the color of the white. It's very creamy. So I have not got to use all of my transfers from the Christmas Valley transfer pack. So I'm just going to take a few little scraps here and get what I can in this frame. I haven't got to use many of the birds, so I definitely wanted to use a bird. And then I'm just going to take a little bit of holly and a little bit of pine and layer it below it. If you haven't ever used a transfer, all you do is take off the white paper backing and rub with the tool that comes with them. These come off super easy on this paper, but you can use transfers on fabric, on glass, on wood, just about anything a transfer will stick to. Once you get the transfer loose, you want to give it a good rub with the plastic over the thing that goes over it, because that will burnish it into your project. And I'm just going to sit this little bird on top of these couple branches and then glue him into the frame. And I wish I would have done several of these. I only had time to do the one, but I love how it looks, and it goes perfect with my rustic woodland Christmas vibe. I'm sorry to say, if you don't already have the Christmas Valley transfer pack, it's not likely you'll get one now. These sold out and they were limited edition. But if you love the birds, I think the entomology transfer pack has tons of birds in it as well. Okay, guys, we're finally going to move away from the blocks, and we're going to go to these bells that I got at Dollar Tree. Now, I thought they were the same thing when I bought them, but I wasn't paying attention, so apparently they had two different types, but that's okay. We're going to make them look as alike as we can, but I recommend getting the same type of bell. So I just roughed them up a little bit with sandpaper, and then I'm going to give them a quick coat of some black chalk paint. It doesn't have to be a perfect, but I did go ahead and seal it in, because now I'm going to use some rub and buff, and I didn't want it to wipe off any of the black paint. I'm just going to messily put this rub and buff on there. I want to give them kind of a worn out copper or bronze look to them, just to give them a more aged and older look. And even though they aren't the same, I think this kind of made them blend together. No one has noticed since I hung them up in my house that they are different, or that they were cheap Dollar Tree bells. So I'm just going to take some twine and tie them together, and then I'm going to use some of the garland, just an old garland that I have that I use pieces of, and I'm going to tie a red ribbon on them. And I definitely think that I succeeded in making these bells look a lot more upscale, and I think they are one of my favorites of today's projects for sure. I think they were the biggest transformation. Okay, we're on to project number 8. The crafts just keep coming. So Dollar Tree has these wire floral rings. They come in 2 a pack. We are going to make the easiest wreath I've ever made. You can buy ribbon at Dollar Tree. This is just some that I had around the house. And I'm just going to wrap this ribbon around. I'm going to start by gluing it down, making sure that it is held tightly. And then I'm just going to neatly wrap the ribbon completely around the wire frame, trying to make sure the fold over is the same all the way around. Once you get your ribbon completely wrapped and held tight, I'm going to glue it on the back to hold it in. Dollar Tree has these cute little pine picks, and I actually really like them, and I think that they would go really good in an arrangement. They're pretty stiff, and you can cut them apart. So I just cut a couple of them apart, and then I'm going to glue them on the top of my wreath. I also got these little jingle bells, but they were just a little bit too shiny for me. So I'm just going to give them a quick coat of the Waverly antiquing wax with a brush. And after they have sat for a few minutes, I'll dab some of it back off with a paper towel. I just think it gave it a little bit of antiquing, of course, made it look just a little older and not quite as shiny as Dollar Tree bells. And then I'll just take some twine and tie the bells together and wrap them around the center of the wreath, letting them hang exactly where I want them to hang on the wreath. And I had to take a little bit more twine and just wrap around a couple more times. And then I am going to tie a bow to put on the wreath. Now, let me tell y'all, bows are definitely not my strong point. I'm not good at tying bows, but I have learned that the easiest one to do is just to take ribbon and cut them into the same size length. And I just so happen to have just enough of this ribbon to make 3 cuts and enough for a tail. So you just cut them all the same length, and then you fold them in, being sure to overlap them just a little bit, and then you squish them together in your fingers and tie them off with twine. I did decide I didn't want the tail on this. I didn't want anything to take away from the bow, so I just did the actual bow, tied it off tight with some twine. You can use some ribbon of the same color, or you can use the ribbon if you want to tie them off tight, but this one's kind of having the whole rustic vibe anyway, so I went ahead and used the jute twine. And then all that's left is to fluff the bow and pull apart your pieces. I'm in love with this wreath. I don't know if y'all saw my home tour video, but I made the little wreaths to go on my top cabinets, and these would fit so perfectly up there, and I may just do a whole bunch of these next year to line the top of my cabinets. Number 9, we're getting there, guys. Our next craft is going to be one that the kids would absolutely love. Mine were already gone when I was doing this one, but I got these little plastic ornaments. They come unscrewed on the bottom. You could absolutely leave the bottom silver, but I'm going to do like a little snow village inside these. So I painted the bottom of them white, and then I cut out a piece of that white paper to fit perfectly inside the lid and glued it down. I'm going to take some of the smallest bottle brush trees that I have. I already had these on hand from my Christmas village, but Dollar Tree has a section with the mini ornaments, and there's lots of little things that you could find to fit inside these, and the kids could just fix them up so cute how they want. I have this little ceramic boy and girl playing, so I'm going to put them in there. And I wanted to make sure that the lid was going to go on correctly with them on there before I glued them down. But I'm just gluing the trees and the people to the white paper that I put underneath and then screwing the ornament back on. And for this one, I'm just going to put a couple of bottle brush trees. I was hoping to find a little deer to put in there in front of them, and I may still yet. And I'm going to use just some Dollar Tree snow and pour it in the top of them. I made a big old mess, but I finally got enough in there that I was satisfied with the way it looked. And in doing all this, I kind of wasn't patient and did not wait for the bottom that I had painted white to dry, and the snow actually kind of stuck to the bottom, but I was like, oh my gosh, that looks kind of cute. So I just rolled the wet paint into some more of the snow and left it like that. I don't know, it may not be for everyone, but I thought it was really cute, and it's holding. So these are how these little ornaments turned out, and I just love them, and I know the kids would love making them too. Project number 10 is another super easy craft. You can get these pint jars at Dollar Tree. You could actually use any kind of glass jar, whether it be a candle or a wine bottle or a glass, any kind of glass jar. And I would actually recommend outside painting it, spray painting it, but it's coming a torrential downpour at my house right now. So I'm just going to give it a coat of this barn red paint. This is a Dixie Belle paint, and it is my favorite Christmas red. I have used it so much this season. I gave it 2 coats, and then I went ahead and sealed it off. Then I'm going to take some black ink chalk paint from Waverly and just paint a belt all the way around the bottom of the jar. We're going to make a little Santa Claus belt with this. After I get the belt painted, I'm just going to paint a few little buttons for his shirt. And then once that is dried, I will seal it in because I'm going to come back with some of my favorite antique gold rub and buff and paint a little buckle. Now, I'm not very steady-handed, but thank goodness I'm not all about having perfect lines and everything either. So I just did the best I could and drew off a square buckle, and I think it turned out pretty good. I love doing things like this, and this is something that kids can do too, and I think they just turn out really great and really Christmassy. I just went ahead and tied this one off with some of that red and white baker's twine, but you could use jute or ribbon or whatever you prefer. And I just put some greenery in here, or you could put candy canes or anything like that you wanted to display. Dollar Tree has these tall white candles, and the labels peel right off on them. This is the easiest project of the day for sure, and one of my favorites. So all you do is peel the labels off, draw you a little snowman face, little buttons. Then I used some orange paint to paint a little carrot nose on each of them, and a little pink paint to give him some rosy cheeks. Once my paint had dried, I ripped off a couple of pieces of this red flannel fabric to tie on some scarves on the snowman. I didn't like the way the scarf was hanging on one side, so I just took a dab of hot glue and glued that side down. Y'all, look at these sweet snowman candles. I am obsessed with these guys. And finally, on to our last project of the day. And I honestly thought I was done, but I wanted to have an even number, so I quickly came up with another one. All this is an empty, cleaned out tin can and some Dollar Tree candy canes. I've had these candy canes a long time because, like I said, I did not plan on doing this. They've only been used for decoration for quite some time. So all you do is just glue your candy canes all the way around your tin can. And I did run out. I was not able to make it all the way around. Just be sure you have enough candy canes. Probably at least 2 packs would do it. I just didn't quite have enough, but I still thought I gave y'all the gist of what I was doing. And I just tied a jute twine around the center of it, and I cut off all those little plastic hanging down things. I didn't film that, but they were driving me crazy, so I cut them off. And this just makes the cutest little vase. You could put a battery operated candle down in it. I just think this is just such a bright pop of red color for all your little candy canes. So that's it, guys. I am tired. I have done 12 DIYs in this video and had a blast doing them. The best part was hanging out with the kiddos and seeing them have so much fun. I hope that I've inspired you to do some of these crafts with the kids. Go to Dollar Tree, pick out a few items, and just have fun. There was so much fun made in this video, but also lots of work. Don't forget to like this video and just leave me a little comment. That just helps this video get out there more. Thank y'all so much. I hope you have a wonderful holiday. Not sure what I'm going to do for next week, but I'll do a little something for sure.